Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, continuing on with our Moto2 World Championship career mode, and it's round 13 for Silverstone. So the home man in his own track, I absolutely adore this track, and I made the same mistake as I did into Kimi Ring, and that was to start in qualifying 1. I completely missed the practice session. I accidentally selected qualifying, warm-up and the race. I did not pick it for some strange reason. Just completely slipped my mind. So here we are, last position right now in qualifying 1, and the pressure is on for us to move up into the best qualifying positions possible into qualifying 2. So coming out of Chapel, and we are firing it now towards the bridge. Now we're going to be trailing behind Xavi Vierge. Hopefully we can get in behind the Spaniard and try and pick up some extra tow. I'm pretty confident around this track, so I'm not going to question my own ability about getting around this particular circuit and getting into qualifying 2. It's just roughly what lap times we're going to be doing compared to the AI. But now braking in quite heavily into Vale, chuck it onto the left hand side, just touch the apex there, then flick it to the right hand side for turn 9, just touch the apex or ride the apex of course, and then we'll get it onto the right hand side once more for the club corner. Nice and easy on the exit there, so we make sure we don't touch the rumble strip, or at least the outside of the rumble strip, but we are up by half a second now as we go into Abbey. Onto the right hand side we go now for turn 11, hold it to the left hand side for turn 12 for Farm, keep it in nice and tight. We'll be hard on the brakes in a moment's time, dropping the anchors, chucking it into the right hand side for Village for turn 13. Straighten the bike out ever so slightly, then just chuck it on the brakes, but be very gentle going into the loop because you have to make sure that you're braking hard but not too hard, so you'll end up dropping the front. Onto the left hand side for Aintree, turn 15, we are up by 1.1 seconds to Iagora's time of a 2:06.901. Xavi Vierge is right in front of us, and he's right there in second place as well. So we now go into Brooklands, hold it in for the nice tight apex there, make sure you don't touch the green like sometimes I tend to do. Onto the right hand side for Luffield now. Remember seeing Jorge Lorenzo jump up on the inside there of Marc Marquez in 2013. It's one of the best overtaking manoeuvres I've ever seen around this particular circuit. But onto the right hand side for Woodcourt, we're absolutely thrashing it now, and across the line we will go. A 2:05.238 for the former Moto2 Championship leader. Magnificent job. Ran a little bit wide into Cop, so this might end up ruining this particular lap, but I tell you what, that is some hot pace coming in from the former championship leader, and of course the Moto3 world champion. So now onto the right hand side for turn 3. We'll be chucking it to the left hand side now for turn 4 for Beckett, so we'll be doing it all over again. Now we did lose quite a lot of time going into turn 1. We made that big mistake, and we've sort of lost this one anyway. But let's continue to push. Let's see if we can improve on that lap time nonetheless. I don't think we'll improve on it, but at least if we can find some better sectors and get used to this track, we might be able to just develop something ready for qualifying 2. Now hard onto the brakes into Stowe, a little bit too deep there for Alec, he's dropped the front. Grant has dropped it and he is out of the session. Hopefully we'll survive going into qualifying 2. And we do. We take top spot. Grant is 0.2 of a second quicker than Iagora and a whole second ahead of Happy Siren and Jorge Navarro in 4th place. So taking a look at the riders going into Q2, you've just seen them on your screen. Grant, Agora, Siren and Navarro now make their way up to qualifying 2 to battle for pole position. So once again, the man from Warrington is going to do the business again here. Let's see if we can chuck in another 2:05 lap. I think that's going to be necessary to get into some decent positions. Nothing worse than a second row grid start is what I'm going to say. If we start any less than second row, then I'm going to be a bit concerned for the Grand Prix. We do usually go well here, and I do very much enjoy this track, so I don't think we have to panic too much, but at the same time, it's something we have to be concerned about nonetheless. Now, we're losing 0.4 of a second into the first sector compared to Joe Roberts' time. The first sector I'm a little bit inconsistent. I could definitely do with some improvements, but we'll see if we can navigate turn 7 this time without making the same mistake as we did on the lap prior where we crashed out and ended the qualifying session early. Same can't be said this time for qualifying 2, so good job for Grant going into turn 7, now going into turn 8, hard onto the brakes for Vale, as we can get a little bit out of shape there. Nice tight apex nonetheless. Chuck it to the right for turn 9, you know the drill. Beautiful combination going into that corner, and out onto the back end side, and once again going into club corner. Turn 10, navigated well, up by 0.4 of a second. So roughly our time is looking like pole position with a 2:06.3, a little bit out of shape going into Abbey. Not the best, looking a bit like me at the weekend when I'm just sat there with Monster Energy and lots of popcorn, getting out of shape. As we now go onto the right hand side for Village for turn 13. Nice and tight apex there. Once again, straighten the bike out, hard on the brakes, dropping the anchors in quite gently for turn 14 for the loop. I do tend to use a little bit of rear brake there just to slow the motorcycle down, just to try and help us get in there. And now we're up by 9.5 tenths of a second. Joe Roberts, I hope you're scared, my friend, because we are coming for your provisional pole position as we now get on hard on the brakes once more for Brooklands for turn 16. Once again, hold the line, keep it in nice and tight, chuck it to the right hand side. These medium tyres are working well. Luffield navigated just as well. Beautifully done. This should be a good lap. We're looking at another pole position. We're looking at the top spot, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the right hand side for Woodcourt, and across the line we will go. It is a 2:05.106. How about that one for starters? What a beautiful lap time that is. That might not be beaten. That is already better than the lap time we set prior, and unfortunately there is a mistake, so we will not be improving upon that lap. We did the same thing last time on the previous lap where we did well and then made the mistake going into turn 1. But nonetheless, that is some good quality lap times coming in from Grant. But don't get a bit too excited just yet. Marco Bezzecchi, Fabio Di Gianantonio, we know we were slow in the first sector, but both of those men, the Italians, are quicker into the first sector. We're going to have to see what we can do going into the next couple of corners. Same can be said for another Italian, Lorenzo Baldassari. On board the MV Agusta, of course, he's currently sitting in 3rd place, but he could be looking to improve his lap time, potentially going into 2nd, or even better, into the 1st position. And let's not fear just yet, but we have to pay attention to it. Remy Gardner, fastest into the 1st sector. Same cannot be said for Fabio Di Gianantonio and Bezzecchi for the 2nd sector, as Raul Fernandez also gets fastest in the 1st sector. This lap time won't matter one iota to Grant, but right now we just have to try and get this lap going, see if we can develop some sort of momentum once we go back into the pits, change the tyres, and get ready for another time attack. But going into Farm, you better believe this is still going to be a decent lap no matter which way you look at it. 4 tenths of a second up into the 3rd sector now going into that one. We are looking very, very promising for this race. And we do really need a good result, and especially at home. I've got the red gloves on to celebrate part of the Union Jack. And of course on the helmet, I don't know if you've noticed it yet, we've not really had a good angle for it. I have posted a picture online on the community section of the channel so you can see it closer if you would like to. And that is just a Union Jack at the top of the helmet. It's pretty much exactly the same helmet, however, I have decided to change it up for this special occasion. But nonetheless, we need to bounce back against Remy Gardner after he took victory last time out in Austria, and he also took our championship lead, so we need to fight back and reclaim that here today. Across the line, we would have improved by 2 tenths of a second, the first 2:04 lap of the weekend. However, that lap was invalidated as we cut the corner earlier on. But now it's time to fight back once again, because Sam Lowes, Gardner, at the most are about 11,000th of a second behind. Super close qualifying laps coming in now. We need to be on our best behaviour, and we need to respond, especially to the likes of Sam Lowes, Gardner, Bezzecchi, Di Gianantonio and Raul Fernandez, who all of those guys are on personal best sectors and red sectors. Marco Bezzecchi right now could be looking like he's going to the top of the pile. 3 red sectors for the Italian on the Sky VR46 bike. Will he be going to the top of the standings in commanding style? Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But Viettio's also in there as well, and the same as Augusto Fernandez. This is not over by a long shot. We did a very good first sector there. Hopefully we can say the same for the 2nd sector as we get closer and closer to it. And we need to just keep looking on the left-hand side of the screen just to see what happens in regards to Bezzecchi's time. And would you know it, just as we were speaking about it, Marco Bezzecchi goes top of the pile with 89,000th of a second clear from Grant. This is super tight right now. And regardless of whether Sam Lowes or Gardner has been invalidated another lap there, that's a big mistake coming in from the former World Championship leader. Not what you'd expect from a man who is deeply in a battle with some of the best riders in Moto2 right now for a championship, to make so many mistakes, especially invalidating laps when it really matters the most. We've been under pressure this season, and we're under pressure once again. And talking about more pressure being added, Remy Gardner up into 2nd position by 44,000th of a second clear from us. This is some super tight qualifying laps, and this is how frustrating the idea of invalidating laps is. We have to make sure we're better. We have to make sure we don't keep pushing the boundaries and invalidating laps. That previous lap time would have been more than enough to retain pole position. So we only have one more go at it now. One more lap to do the business here in Silverstone to try and take pole position in front of the fans. They want it, I want it, the aces want it. We have to get it done here today. Turn 1 for Cops. Not bad. It could have been a little bit better, ran a little bit too wide going into the rumble strips, Bezzecchi, Gardner still on fastest sectors. Augusto Fernandez had the first fastest sector, and then the rest are personal bests for him, Di Giannantonio and Marcel Schrotter, who's just got himself up into the second row. Good result so far for the Dynaval Intact team. Fabio Di Giannantonio looks like he's lost a bit of time into the third sector, but right now, focusing on Grant, he's down by half a second. This doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement. Maybe Grant is not going to get the job done. The Petronas SRT team really want the podium, or at least the pole position rather, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. At the very least, we need to finish on the front row. We did say early on in the video the first 2 rows would be more than happy enough for them. We're still going to be absolutely fine. Of course, qualifying is very, very important in Moto 2. A lot of the bikes, well, pretty much all of the bikes are exactly the same, so we have to make sure we are qualifying in the best possible position and starting the races in the best possible position as well, i.e. ready and able to go into Power Standing 3 and chuck in some fast lap times. But guys, it looks like it's gone. It does not look like we're going to get a British pole position here in this qualifying session for Silverstone. Marco Bezzecchi's called it quits. Remy Gardner hasn't quite given up just yet. He's got 3 more personal sectors, or at least 2 more. Who knows what's going to happen? It's Grant. Whoa! Whoa! Grant almost lost the front then. That was it. He very nearly dropped the bike there. And that would have been 2 crashes in one video. That would be very, very embarrassing. I've got to keep the crashes to a minimum. We've made a couple too many mistakes this season. And bad news as well, we haven't been able to acquire a MotoGP contract just yet. We are in talk with one of the created teams, which I really don't like doing. I'd rather do an official team. But for the time being, if we want to go into MotoGP next season, that could be our only option. I'll be sure to share a bit more information with you in the next couple of videos. But right now, it doesn't look like we're going up to MotoGP with a factory or a satellite contract as of yet, but for this one, this is pretty much done. Marco Bezzecchi takes pole position with Grant and Remy Gardner on the front row. Gardner in second, Grant in third. Cannot wait for the race tonight at 8 PM. I'll be sure to see you there. But guys, upon that note, thank you very much for watching the video as always. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And upon that note guys, thank you for watching and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.